All right, let's take you this morning to Ntuzuma, that's in Kwazulu-Natal, where a bridge that was destroyed by last year's flooding has still not been rebuilt. In fact, just yesterday, a woman who attempted to drive across that road plunged to her death. Karinda Jagmohan is our reporter tracking that story. Karinda, good morning. It's been a year since those devastating floods in KZN. Could this latest incident have been avoided, is the question, I suppose.
Certainly, Michelle. Perhaps if this bridge was built much sooner, rebuilt much sooner, then this tragedy could have been avoided. We'll show you the place where this happened. Now, there's been a question about whether this area was barricaded. On both sides, there are concrete barricades, but it's believed, and from my short interaction with the community here, that they believe that the barricades on the other side of this road was removed temporarily. They don't know by who, but they say that's perhaps the reason why this woman drove across this area. Now, my colleague Lungelo Zungu will show you the place where her vehicle sadly plunged down this embankment. She had driven from the opposite side of this Ntuzuma road and was perhaps intending, of course, to come over, and she plunged down here. She sadly passed away, and over the late hours of yesterday, the eThekwini municipalities, various disaster management teams and police were trying to remove the vehicle. They've since done so you can't actually see the vehicle at the bottom. But you can just take a look at this entire situation where there was a bridge over this small river here, and during the April floods last year, this bridge was washed away by the torrential rain. Remember, more than 300 millimeters of rain fell over KZN, especially over the parts of Durban, over a 24-hour period, which is 4 times the amount of rain that would fall over Durban just in the month of April. So this infrastructure could not withstand that amount of rain, the water that was essentially also going underneath the bridge because of the flooding that was occurring here, and as a result, this infrastructure was washed away. What's only remaining is the side metal barricades, and I was here last year, and it's a very similar situation. There's no significant development, Michelle, that has happened over the past year. There are contractors that have been employed to fix this. You would see their signs of the signage of their names across the bridge, but again, no significant impact just in terms of rebuilding this area. So, like you first asked, is if there was any significant impact to rebuild this bridge, perhaps this young woman could have still been alive today, but that is also under assumption at this point, and you can still see the remainder of some parts of the vehicle at the bottom. We can't get too close, unfortunately, but at this point, certainly the community is concerned about the fact that this bridge has been this way now for a year since the floods happened, and they're concerned that they could see other potential injuries or deaths as well that could occur here if the situation continues.
Yeah, especially because just looking at that photograph there behind you, Karinda, there is no signage. There's nothing stopping people from driving from that spot there behind you. And it's not the only bit of infrastructure damaged by last year's flooding either.
Certainly. There is no signage warning motorists or pedestrians to be careful about what's happening here. There are concrete barricades just nearby us on this side of the bridge and on the other side, but some of the community representatives who we'll talk to a bit later on believe that that could have been temporarily moved, and that's the reason why this woman, who's from Johannesburg, might have crossed this bridge. So she's obviously not familiar with this area as well. Now, speaking about other infrastructure, certainly there are thousands of homes damaged and public infrastructure as well destroyed during last year's floods. We know of the homes that have been damaged and people moved to temporary housing units while they wait for permanent housing that we say, or we're being told, is being built currently. But with regards to public infrastructure, there's another bridge on the M4, a main route that runs across Durban, that's also been damaged now for the past year. That bridge is supposed to be built by SANRAL, but we're told by the community there that no contractor has actually been appointed to rebuild that area, and as a result, of course, the residents who have to cross that bridge for their daily route must take a longer detour. Again, even in Tongaat, where the the water treatment works or the water facilities there were destroyed during the April floods, that's also being rebuilt now. And so we've seen over the past year a water crisis unfolding in that area because of the lack of a water treatment facility in that area because it was destroyed. So that's still being rebuilt. And then, of course, we know about the sewage issue. A number of sewage pump stations were destroyed by the April floods. Of course, there are comments that have been made by various community activists that this is also because of non-maintenance, but ultimately there's also sewage leakages happening across the city. So it's a myriad of issues when it comes to looking at how the devastation from the April floods is still impacting the community of Durban. I mean, take a look behind me. This happened last year, Michelle, and still no significant changes happening with regards to at least clearing up this area or filling up this area too. So this is how the community of Ntuzuma is dealing with this issue a year on.
Yeah, just absolutely devastating. No signage at all. A real risk to life, which is exactly what's unfolded with that car plunging from that spot there in Ntuzuma and a woman dying as a result. Karinda Jagmohan, thanks very much indeed for that update. She's live to us there in KZN.